It happened on an ordinary Thursday evening, one of those quiet nights when routine feels safe and predictable. My wife, Sarah, had just come home from work, tossed her bag on the couch, and headed to the shower while I was finishing up a few emails at the dining table. Her phone buzzed beside her bag, the screen lighting up with a message. Normally, I wouldn't even glance at it, but the preview caught my eye. 7 words that froze me where I sat. Hope your husband doesn't find out what we talked about. My stomach dropped. I stared at the message, reading it again just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. It was from someone named Erin, a name I recognized vaguely, her coworker, the one she had mentioned a few times when talking about late meetings and project deadlines. I picked up her phone, my hands trembling slightly. The full message read, "Hope your clueless husband doesn't find out what we talked about today. He'd probably lose it." Clueless husband. Those words burned in my chest like fire. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the phrasing wasn't exactly subtle. My first instinct was anger, then confusion, then disbelief. I set the phone down carefully, forcing myself to breathe. When she stepped out of the shower, wrapped in a towel, humming softly, I looked at her differently. The woman I trusted completely now stood in front of me with a shadow of doubt hanging over her. "Hey," she said with a smile. "You okay?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah. Long day." "The usual," she said, shrugging. "You know how it is." I nodded again but didn't say anything else. When she went to her room to change, I glanced at her phone again. No new messages, no replies. She hadn't seen it yet. Part of me wanted to confront her right then, but another part wanted to wait, to see if she'd bring it up herself. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every little sound, the creak of the floor, the hum of the fridge, felt amplified against the storm of thoughts in my head. I kept thinking about those words. Hope your clueless husband doesn't find out. The next morning, she was cheerful, talking about her schedule and how she'd be late again because of some team planning session. I forced a smile. "You and Erin working together again?" I asked casually. She froze for half a second, barely noticeable, but I caught it. "Yeah," she said quickly, "he's part of the project team." "He seems friendly," I added, my tone even. "Guess you two talk a lot." She nodded. "Work stuff, mostly." "Why?" I just shrugged. "Curious." She left soon after, but that pause, that flicker of hesitation, told me everything I needed to know. I decided to go a different route. I drove to her office around lunch, something I never did. I didn't plan to spy or cause a scene, I just wanted to see. From the car, I watched through the glass windows as the team worked. She was there, laughing with a small group. Then I saw him, Erin. Mid-30s, sharp suit, confident posture. He leaned toward her, saying something that made her smile in that familiar, easy way I hadn't seen at home in a while. My chest tightened again, but I forced myself to stay calm. I didn't want anger to lead. I wanted truth. When she got home that evening, I waited until after dinner, when the air was calm and still. Then I said, "Sarah, can I ask you something?" She looked up from her glass of wine. "Of course." I handed her phone to her. "You got a message yesterday. From Erin." Her face went pale instantly. She opened the phone, read it, and went completely still. "Ben," she started, her voice barely above a whisper, "it's not what you think." "Then explain it," I said quietly. "Because it sounds like something I shouldn't find out about." She set the phone down, hands shaking slightly. "We were talking about office politics," she said quickly. "A few people were gossiping about our boss, and Erin said something he shouldn't have. I told him he was crossing a line, and I guess he thought it was funny to send that text as a joke. I didn't even see it until now." I studied her face. There was fear there, but not guilt, at least not the kind I'd expected. "You expect me to believe that?" I asked. "I know how it sounds," she said. "But I swear, there's nothing between us. Check my messages, emails, whatever you need. I'll show you." I hesitated, watching her unlock her phone and hand it to me willingly. I scrolled through their texts. They talked often, but the messages were mostly about work, deadlines, presentations, the occasional joke, but nothing inappropriate. The only strange thing was that message. It didn't fit the tone of the rest. I looked back at her. "Why didn't you tell me about this earlier?" "Because I didn't think I needed to," she said softly. "I thought you trusted me." That hit harder than I expected. I set the phone down and sighed. "I do trust you, Sarah. But sometimes people test that without realizing how much it hurts." She reached for my hand, tears forming in her eyes. "I'll talk to him tomorrow. I'll tell him that joke crossed the line and that it made things uncomfortable. I promise." True to her word, she did. The next day, she showed me a message from Aaron apologizing, admitting his text was a dumb joke, and saying he respected both of us. Whether I believed every word didn't matter as much anymore. The point was, I saw how she handled it. That night, as we sat together on the couch, she looked at me and said, "You could have yelled, you could have accused me, but you didn't. You gave me a chance to explain." I smiled faintly. "I didn't need a fight," I said. "I just needed the truth." And from that day on, she never hit her phone again, and I never called myself clueless, because trust isn't about ignoring doubt. It's about finding out the truth without losing your calm.